This video is brought to you by Sosoi. Sosoi, the innovators of spikeboarding, stand-up spike, and the creators of the original skateboard spike. Sosoi, become the motor.
Hi folks, and welcome to another Sosoi spikeboarding video. Today we're going to do a little flatland sprint in stand-up spike using only our arms. That is a Sosoi skateboard spike that you just saw. We're at 14 and Hudson, very nice tavern in Piermont, New York, and we're pulling out through here in the main street section of Piermont Avenue. This is Piermont Avenue. It's kind of like the main street of Piermont, and we are on the wheel of a very nice woman named Jess, a triathlete from New Jersey, who is going to operate our camera bike today. And once again, we're leaving without a warm-up, so it is recommended that you try to get yourself a 30 to 40 minute warm-up before you do little time trials like this. But this is going to be a sprint, folks. This is about I think somewhere between 10 and 13 minutes. I forgot the time code here. We'll see it at the end. And we are performing the stroke of stand-up spike, and that stroke is very, very, very similar to double poling and cross-country skiing. Notice the square formation of the arms, and they are locking and engaging the core and the lat muscles from the back to drive this athlete. So time trials are constant, steady efforts near maximum, where we try not to burn out before the end. So it's like pouring a pitcher of water for a perfect 60 minutes, and at that last second, on that last minute, you will want to drop out the last drop. If you pour it out too quickly, you'll peter out before the end, and if you have a little extra at the end, well, you won't have had as good a time result. Pay close attention to the skateboard spike's parallel nature to the board, and notice how the foam top handle is passing the quadricep. That's a complete stroke. And also the upper body is falling down upon the stroke. And as you can see, even though we may be climbing just a little bit, the legs remain fixed. You're not compressing and bending the legs whatsoever when you are flat landing in stand-up spike. They will remain mostly rigid, and your feet placement will be standing upon the Sosoi X of your spike board or behind it. So if you begin to creep forward, you may have a chance to spike your own wheel. So stay on your X or behind it. And notice how the athlete is holding a fairly steady rhythm and trying to not have a tempo that goes from fast to slow and slow to fast. Jess here is doing a sensational job of holding a steady tempo and rhythm for this camera, and which isn't easy to do because the bicycle and the board are two different machines, and they hold slightly different tempo and acceleration, deceleration on the climbs. These are very little tiny elevations between Piermont and Nyack, and of course we're passing through Grandview on Hudson as well. Tiny little town tucked in between there. This is a beautiful road. The Hudson River is there to the right of the athlete on your picture screen left. It's a sensational afternoon in the lower Hudson Valley of New York. Glorious roads, beautiful roads for transport sport here. Many years of experience of riding these roads on bicycles, and of course in spikeboarding your speed is reduced by about a full third, but other than that everything remains the same. Follow all the traffic laws, stay to the right hand side of the road, and let faster traffic pass you, and otherwise hit that road, spike hard and spike often, and come to Nyack and Piermont and really get some delicious spikeboarding going in these towns. And there's wonderful cafes and places to eat and places to relax afterwards as well. And of course, this is the section that we had referred to, the section of road for a very nice warm-up before you wanted to attempt a summit later over in Nyack. And of course, you could attempt a summit out of Piermont, although the roads there are very vertical towards the top of a road called Tweak. But now let's get back here to this flatland time trial. We're about in the middle of this sprint at 5:29, and the athlete maintains a steady rhythm, so we're doing pretty good and not petering out too much. Without this warm-up, folks, certainly it's pretty rough on an athlete, so make sure to get yourself a warm-up. This is a slight incline, as you can tell, and notice how that square is staying as integrated as possible. The arms are not outstretching, and then the elbows are locking and engaging the core with a slight unwind. Take a look at that right shoulder, the left one in your picture, and now it's going to be that left shoulder, the right shoulder in your picture, and notice how it's leading the other one, and so is the hip. The stroke always happens on the front side, and we have to develop bilateral balance in our carved positions. And folks, you can achieve this slowly and with time, and this athlete is making switches in complete certainty that he is going to make them. So when you begin, you want to only switch as fast as you can certainly switch without running any danger whatsoever of falling. If it all seems sketchy, pull back the speed and continue to practice until you're ready. Never forget, you can only go fast if you can go slow perfectly. So accelerate your strokes as you're working, and switch often on cadences of 5 and 3 in the beginning. So 3 strokes to one side, 5 strokes to the other, 5 strokes to one side, 5 to the other, 3 on 1, 3 on 1, 3 on 1, 3 on. The more you switch, the more you will be comfortable in switching from side to side, and your neurological system will eventually develop. And you will have control on both sides, especially on clean pavement. As you can see here, it's all relatively very clean, untechnical pavement, just having to mind the course for some slight little holes and divots and possibly minor little water main caps and some little bit of iron plate, but not too much whatsoever. This circuit from Piermont over to Nyack is really nice. There's a few little rises. It's very difficult to tell where the rises and the descents are on the circuit, actually, because it is so flat. Certainly anything that doesn't climb more than, say, half a kilometer or 1 kilometer, it's just a pan flat course. So slight little rises is no big deal. A little turbulence back there, went right around that. Keep your eye on the pavement. It's a little different sport than cycling. You need to mind the terrain with a little more diligence. And of course, anything that happens with any kind of dismount in this sport will be a pilot error. And if you're falling or at all having dismounts because you're going for it, well, stop going for it and pull back a little, same as you would on a road bike. This isn't a go-for-it sport. It's not a daredevil sport. And so we've hammered straight through Grandview on Hudson, and we're preparing to enter a little closer to South Nyack. The time in 9 minutes and 2 seconds here. And as you can see, now there's going to be a little bit of an incline, and the cadence speed has dropped just a little bit. Jess has pulled up from the athlete, so we can't see quite so close to dynamism. Those cars are passing at about 22, 23 miles an hour to give you an idea. The legal speed limit here is only 25 miles an hour. That'll give you an idea of the speeds that are being carried by this athlete. So there's going to be a little descent now down into what will be the beginning of South Nyack. But first we're going to go under 287, the highway, and it does get a little technical down there. And as sketchy as it might seem when you're witnessing this, there was absolutely no worry at all in this athlete negotiating little technical parts to get around. The wheels are 85 millimeter on this board, so the idea is a little tuck just to catch a little speed. Couldn't hold cadence this high, so there's no way to, whenever you can't hold a cadence, you're better off in a tuck to maintain the speed. And just get to the back of the board a little bit, and if it's light on the front goes over, the back is going to go over. So never forget that. Remain calm. There we go, under 287. There's the old Tappan Zee Bridge, and the new one. Look at those nice new I-beams. Big old bridge, brand new. They're working on that. It'll be done, I guess, in a couple of years. Here we go, the last little climb. Make sure to leave a little reserve for this little climb if you're going to do this particular time trial. And now time to lay it out. Lay out a good 60 seconds here. We're at 10:50 and up we go. So right now is the little pain. You need to suck that up and make it up to the flat section. What will be the beginning of Piermont Avenue again. This has been called River Road all the way in between. We start on Piermont Avenue, becomes River Road, and then becomes Piermont Avenue once again. So the idea is to maintain your tempo high and your cadence fast and quick and effective up this final climb so you can get this finished. So that was about a 1-minute summit. We're coming up at 11:28. And past we go these little apartments. Still a little bit of a climb left. We're about to flatten this out and dig as hard as you can and keep the speed and the cadence up and finish these time trials nice and strong. So if you're not finishing strong, somewhere along the line you poured out too much Kool-Aid from the pitcher. So the idea is to always have a little bit at the very end because you're going to need it. And here comes the cadence. There's going to be a little speed limit sign over to our right, which is your left here on the pictures. You can see a little square sign, and that will be the end of this thing. So we'll see it here in a moment, and we'll see what the time says. Up we go. Ding, ding, ding. Spike hard, spike off, and spike boarding. And there's the speed limit sign. That was about 12:20, I guess. And we gave it a little more. Our heads were down. Always spike through the finish line, not to a finish line, and then you'll do well. Once you've given it your all in the sport of spikeboarding in a time trial, you will want to collapse. And this is similar in Nordic ski as well. You do not have a bicycle to support you. You don't have any inline skate wheels that are going to support you. And if you've given it your all, you're going to need to just collapse a little bit and make sure that you can recuperate just a little bit and get some more oxygen in your body. It won't take too long if it's a short effort like this. And folks, thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one.
This video is brought to you by Sosoi. Sosoi, the innovators of spikeboarding, stand-up spike, and the creators of the original skateboard spike. Sosoi, become the motor.